Hey, good morning. Dave here. Welcome back to Rolling Hills Farm. You can see I'm in the shop today because we've got a problem with our Kubota skid steer. The tracks and the rollers in the tracks were squealing like crazy yesterday when we went out to do work moving manure in the calving barn. It was like, every one of them sounded like it was frozen up. So we brought in the skid steer into the shop overnight, even though it's not that cold outside, it's just at freezing, to thaw it out. And you see it's been draining, to see if we can figure out what's going on with these rollers. I'm going to replay some of the video from yesterday so you can hear what I was hearing as we were working. So you can hear that squealing as we were running back and forth to the manure pile, and it's an awful sound. I almost had to wear earphones in the skid steer to operate it. But what's interesting is when Dawn pushed down the bucket and raised the front of the skid steer, she was sliding forward, the squealing went away completely. So I don't know if that means anything. Take a listen. So I've done some YouTube research and talked to some people who know, and they say sometimes you just get gravel up in between the sides of these rollers, and ice and grit gets up in there, and it sounds like it's coming apart. The other possibility is that one of these rollers might have failed, might either be stuck in there or might have started to leak. But a quick examination of the track, and I can't see any fluid leaking from any of the rollers. So Kubota's rollers are, you don't grease them. They're a sealed bearing roller with oil inside. And so if that seal were to go, they'd lock up in a hurry, because you'd lose all that oil, but you'd also see some evidence of oil coming out, and we haven't seen any evidence of that at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this up in the air so I can take the pressure off the rollers from the weight of the vehicle. And the way I like to do that is I've got a group of 6x6s that fit right underneath, wooden 6x6s. They fit underneath the back of the skid steer, and I'll use the bucket to just push down and raise the machine up on the posts in the back, just enough so the track comes up off the ground. And you'll see when I get it up a little bit, I want to be able to run the track on each side of, while I've got it up in the air, to see if the squealing continues. That one seems smooth. That one seems smooth. That one seems to move okay. We're on the other side now. The back two move fine. That one moves easy. Oh, good heavens. Every one of them moves exactly the same. They don't spin real fast and real easy, but they feel really solid when I turn them. All right, I'm getting a noise over here. So I have a noise on the right side. that sounds terrible. So I've asked Dawn to start the skid steer up and run the track so I can put my ears right down next to the track and see if I can hear any noise. Again. Okay, try it again. Again. Stop. Okay, shut it off. So it's not engaging any of the rollers. So this can't be any of the rollers because the track's not even touching them. It feels like this front idler right here. So I'm going to spray it like crazy with WD and then we'll start it and try it again.
Okay.
Let's start it and run it again and see if it squeaks any different. All right, so with Dawn running the machine, the squealing was continuing, and boy, it is so loud. It's even kind of hard to tell where it's coming from, but I think it's coming from the right front idler. So we had the same problem with the skid steer last summer. We cleaned out all the debris and dirt and retensioned the track, and it helped a little bit, but the problem never really went away. It's been getting steadily worse this winter. So a number of YouTube sites and skid steer forums suggested putting a bar on the front idler and pulling on it, and if you could see any flex, that idler is shot. And sure enough, as I pulled on the bar, you could see a flex of almost a 1/4 inch between the idler wheel and the idler axle. And the axle is moving separately from the wheel. Both sides, front idlers, are loose. Going to need to be replaced. Don't know why it's happened this early, but it has, so we need to order idlers. Okay, it's much later in the day, and these are front idlers for the Kubota. My local Kubota dealer had a pair of them, $846 a piece, all bundled up in these little crates. So let's get these inside. Well, there. It's expensive, but there it is. A brand new front idler for the skid steer. Well, it's going to take a lot more time than I have today to get these idlers installed. First thing is I've got to get this out and power wash that entire assembly on both sides, so we've got a clean area to work with. Then we've got to take the tracks off, and I'm going to need some help with that. I don't have a big enough jack to hoist this thing up because the bucket's got to be taken off in order to get these idlers out of the way. So I'll be doing it all with jack and blocks. I've got a friend who's going to give me a hand, and that may take a few days. But we'll be back when we're ready to do that. And so there's going to need to be a part 2 for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll come back, and we'll see if we've solved the problem with this skid steer once and for all. We'll see you then.